What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show. Now, you spent, what, like four and a half years, something like that, on doing this book. And we outlined at the beginning kind of how you fell into it. But you went over to Congo as well?
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you speak with when you were over there?
So a bunch of people. And that was, it was really important for me to get the Congolese side of the story because most of the documents are American, Belgian, from the UN. But part of the goal of this book is to really tell the full story and bring the Congolese story and Congolese voices back in. So I spoke with Lumumba's daughter, his son, who were very young, but nevertheless had these great memories of their father. And then I also tracked down a man who was 14 at the time of Lumumba's death and actually witnessed it. He was hunting with his father. They're hunting antelope.
In Katanga, I guess.
In Katanga late at night or on a hunting trip. And suddenly they see these headlights pull off the road and prisoners dragged out of the car. And then they're sort of crouching behind an anthill watching all of this, witnessing the execution.
And he knew who it was right then?
I think only later did he realize the significance of what he had seen.
Whoa. How'd you find that guy?
So I worked with this very resourceful Congolese journalist in Lubumbashi, is the capital of Katanga is now known. It used to be Elizabethville in the time I'm writing about. And we went I wanted to see the site where Lumumba was murdered, which is now sort of this memorial. And when I went there, I was, taking notes and taking pictures and looking around. And then he said, there's a man who lives not far from here who actually was there the night. And I said, okay, how can we meet this man? And so he, we waited around. Someone went on a motorbike to go find this man wherever he lived. And then sort of after hours, he and some others emerged with him, and he sat down with me, and I had an interpreter. He didn't speak French. He spoke the Swahili dialect of that area, and managed to interview him and hear his remembrances and get some details from actually what it was like witnessing this.
Was he matter of fact about it, or was it a really traumatizing thing for him?
He was very matter of fact about it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it had been 60 plus years by then.
Yeah, and you said he was like 14 when you witnessed
at the time,
it?
yeah.
But he's also, he's in a war-torn province. He's probably seen a lot of other things in his life too. But that's pretty crazy that you got that. And his children, you said you spoke with them. They had to be what, like 3-4 years old when he died?
His daughter was maybe 4 or 5. His son was a little older. Son Francois was maybe 8 or 9, I think. So, when you're interviewing someone like that, you're not going to get useful information about dates and the political intrigue, but just memories of what your father was like. What do you remember when this happened? What did it look like when you were under house arrest? That sort of thing.
Were they, after their father was executed, what was the family's life in the country like?
Yeah, so that's a whole fascinating other story. They... some of them escaped before he was murdered. They were smuggled out, disguised. An Egyptian diplomat actually sort of pretended to be their father and flew on a plane with them to Cairo. And then they were a guest of Nasser there, the leader of Egypt at the time. And
oh wow.
But Lumumba's youngest, his 2-year-old son, stayed behind in the Congo and was caught while they were escaping. But anyway, so that family ended up growing up in large part in Egypt, his children. And when I met with his daughter, Juliana, she was, on the phone, she was speaking Arabic, and then she'd switched to French with me, and then also knew a bit of English as well. So they have this whole interesting childhood, but obviously a very tragic one as well, in that they lost their father violently and at a very early age.
And she lives in the Congo today, it sounds like?
She does. So they were, one of the footnotes to the story is that Mobutu, who, as maybe people may know, ended up being, spoiler alert, becomes the dictator of Congo until 1997. So
and they
stays in power changed his name to Mobutu Sese Seko.
And they changed the name of the country too, right?
Became Zaire.
Okay. But now it's back to Congo.
Yeah, now it's the Democratic Republic of Congo, or Congo for short.
Right.
But Mobutu, who had been responsible for sending Lumumba to his death, ends up trying to sort of co-opt his legacy and claim that, he turns Lumumba into this heroic figure, and then as part of that actually invites Lumumba's widow back to Congo at some point. So there's, a whole other story there.
How is Lumumba viewed in Congo today? Is he a hero? Is he a polarizing figure?
I think largely he's viewed as a hero. That would, vary by location to some degree and ethnic group, but he is viewed as this national icon. I mean, if you go there, you see there's statues of him. There's his face is on T-shirts and on wraps and that sort of thing. And yeah, he really is viewed as this, this tragic figure who is a great man who led the country and then, met a violent death.
Mm. Well, let's go to the years after he died, because that's obviously a core of the country's story. Because you have the Congo crisis. It lasts approximately like 5 years or so. Mm-hmm. Is that right? So Lumumba is killed. Is it now like a full-blown civil war for 5 years? How did that go?
Yeah. So Lumumba is killed. Mobutu is in charge, but then very soon after Lumumba's death, the government in Stanleyville, that was the place he was trying to get to when he escaped, that rises in influence. There's this brief little political deal where everything's fine, but then things really fall apart, and you have these two rebellions, the Simba Rebellion, Simba is Swahili for lion, and the Kwilu Rebellion, and basically half the country is in rebel hands, and Mobutu is struggling to exert control. And the Americans help him as much as possible. As I mentioned earlier, there's this massive paramilitary operation, but it takes a lot of time and money and bloodshed. But then in 1965, sort of Mobutu finally consolidates control and the rebellions are put down and he's in charge. And then, so begins his 30 plus years of rule. Were
the rebellions led by like allies of Lumumba?
Yeah, they were called Lumumbists, actually.
So was it like some of his friends from life leading it?
Yeah, it was his political allies, people from his stronghold in Stanleyville, and they were, very, in their view, carrying on Lumumba's legacy and fighting against the unrepresentative central government that Mobutu was now in charge of.
And obviously, during these years, tens of thousands of people die during this war, effectively, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a violent time, but, tragically not the most violent time that the country would see.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.